Hello and welcome back to Alex FPL. Today we're going to be putting together a tier list of the best defenders in FPL from Game Week 1. We'll be looking at last season's stats, projected points for this season, pre-season form, and all the latest injury news. First up, we have the avoid category, starting with Kluivert. So I love this pick. He's on pens, he's nailed, not playing in Europe, so not facing much turnover. However, he does appear to be injured, so I would avoid him for Game Week 1. Then we have Marmoush, 8.5 million. He did pretty well for us in some of our teams last year when Haaland was injured. But we have to remember that all of his goals and his form last season did come in a period of time when Haaland was not playing, which does not appear to be the case this season, with Haaland pretty much 100% guaranteed to start from Game Week 1. So Marmoush is not a pick I would recommend. I would say avoid. Staying on City, next up we have Cherki. So I think he's a great signing, and from a football perspective, could be a real joy to watch. But for FPL, we just don't have enough guarantees around his minutes. We have no idea what factor Pep Roulette will play in Cherki's use, especially in the first half of the season. Let's monitor him though. If he becomes nailed, he could be a really great pick. Next up, we have Ramsey at Burnley. I can't really understand how 12% of the managers have gone for him. I know he's 4.5 and he's probably playing the role of last on the bench. But with such high ownership comes the very real risk of losing value on this player. So if you are looking for a 4.5 player to sit on the bench and not do anything for you, go for someone who has much lower ownership. Next one's a bit of a heartbreaker. This one is Rodgers. So I had Rodgers in my first draft. Unfortunately, I've had to take him out because he's injured. So we're very clearly not a pick for Game Week 1. These next two players I'll do together because they're a part of the same team, and my reasoning for not picking them or for saying there should be avoids are basically the same. It is Cunha and Mbeumo. So Cunha, great season last year with Wolves. Similarly, Mbeumo had a terrific season with Brentford. However, we don't know how often they'll be used by Amorim in this new season. I want to watch at least 4 or 5 games and see how many minutes they're getting, what positions they're getting in, and whether they'll be viable picks for FPL. Another factor, of course, is that United have the worst fixtures out of any Premier League team in the first 10 game weeks. So again, it's not a great period to be picking United assets and taking bets on them. Next up, we're moving into the risky tier, starting with Elanga, and to be honest, any of the attacking players from Newcastle. We just don't have enough information. Their fixtures aren't great. And I kind of want to see how they react to being in Europe with turnover and the lack of signings as well. Obviously, Elanga's a new signing, but apart from that, Newcastle have been pretty quiet on the transfer market. So, one to wait and watch for me. Next up, we have Rice at Arsenal. Obviously, with the introduction of defensive contribution points, Rice becomes a much more interesting pick than he was last year. However, I still don't think his ceiling is that high. So for 6.5 million, I'd rather go with a more attacking player like Sarr at Crystal Palace, or even a penalty taker like Ndaya at Everton. Caicedo, for similar reasons to Rice, for me is a risky pick. Obviously, with the introduction of defensive contribution points, we are expecting more from him this season, but I still think I prefer to go for a different kind of midfielder rather than a defensive midfielder. There is one exception to this type of thinking, which I'll cover later in the video. Sarr at Tottenham is one of the best priced midfielders in his department, so CDMs. So we see Rice at 6.5, Caicedo at 5.5. Sarr at Tottenham is coming in at 5 million. So depending on how Thomas Frank decides to use him, Sarr could become an amazing pick for FPL. In the preseason, he's had a really attacking role and been involved with 4 goals in the preseason. So again, depending on how this plays out, he could become a great pick. But from game week 1, I still think he's a bit risky. Final player in this tier is Reinders at Manchester City. So he made the move from Milan over the summer, and he was typically deployed as a box-to-box midfielder. He even made the Serie A Team of the Year last season. Now, of course, we don't know how Pep is going to use him, but I think at 5.5, it's much easier to take a bet on a player like Reinders versus someone like Cherki at 6.5 million or Marmoush at 8.5. Next, we have the decent tier, starting with Matoma at Brighton for 6.5 million. So Matoma was really great last season, 10 goals, 5 assists, pretty much nailed. However, the poor fixtures for Brighton from game week 1 means, for me, he's probably not going to be in my team. Next, we have Eze at Palace. For 7.5 million, you get a nailed player who's pretty much the talisman of his team. However, he's no longer at penalties, as we've seen Mateta take over that role over the preseason. And also Sarr, who we'll cover more later, has better stats than him. Equally nailed and is 1 million less. Next, we have Enzo at Chelsea. He's definitely nailed, 6.5 million. Decent DEFCON contributions expected. Could also play higher up the pitch sometimes, depending on what Chelsea need. Not an exciting pick by any means, but decent. Next, we have Adingra, potentially Sunderland's main threat going into this season. Let's watch him closely. Next up, we have Odegaard. Odegaard has the potential to be an amazing FPL player or a terrible one. It really completely depends on how he is used on the pitch. If he sits further back, using that central pivot role, sort of Pedalo style, then he's no good for FPL. But sometimes he's playing much further forward as a number 10, just behind the striker. And when he plays in those positions, he's a fantastic pick for FPL. However, I have a sneaky suspicion that Gyökeres could be taking penalties off both him and Saka. Then we have Gakpo, who almost made it into the good tier. I just have a feeling he won't be getting as many minutes as some of the other attacking players from Liverpool, like Salah or Wirtz. He's less tactically versatile than the other players. He's basically their left winger. As soon as someone else might come in over the summer transfer window or they need something different in the match, I think Gakpo is typically going to be the first one to be subbed off. And I might even think he could potentially not even start some of the games in that early part of the season. When he's nailed and he's firing, he can be a great pick. And he's only 7.5 million. So I really do think he's a decent pick, but he's potentially one you could be taking a bit of a risk on. Harry Wilson at Fulham has snuck into this video at the last minute due to his insane preseason. He's had 5 goals and 1 assist. What an amazing return. 5.5 million, obviously nailed. He could be a really, really interesting pick. I'm going to monitor him to begin with, but he's definitely on my radar. Now we're moving up to the good tier, starting with Ndiaye at Everton. 9 goals last season. He's on pens. He's nailed. They have fantastic opening fixtures. And he's also got a DEFCON stat of 20%, which for an attacking player is really good. Next up, we have Fernandes at Man United. So I really like him as a pick, and I've gone with him for the last 2 seasons. However, his returns have been really, really poor in both of those starts of both of those seasons. So I think due to my recency bias, I'm not going to go for him. However, his early preseason form is looking really, really good, and a lot of players are thinking bringing him in. If you're one of them, go for it. I'm kind of jealous. I just don't have it in me to take a risk on Fernandes for a third season running from Gameweek 1. Saka's been a fixture in all of my drafts for the last however many seasons I've been playing FPL. This is the first time I'm really not considering him at all. At 10 million, his rank completely depends on whether he's on pens or not. If he loses them to Gyökeres, we might have to really consider whether he's good value for money. Now we have Kudus at Spurs for 6.5 million. Now, he's been in and out of my team. I really want to back my team Spurs, but there are so many unknowns. Obviously, Son's left and Madison is injured, so Kudus' minutes look good, but he's been really quiet in preseason, so he's not filled me with confidence. Still a good pick, but I'm not sure if I'm going with him. I think I'll leave it to the last day to decide. Next up, Wirtz at Liverpool for 8.5 million. So he is a bit of a gamble. We haven't seen him in the Premier League, but his attacking returns last season in the Bundesliga were elite, 23 out of 31, and 7 out of 9 in the Champions League. Also, his price tag could force Slot's hand somewhat in starting him, at least for the start of the season. He's bagged goals in the preseason. He's looked really, really good. I watched him against Palace and he was everywhere. He was a real joy to watch. Next, we have Sarr at Palace. Excellent player, better stats than Eze and 1 million cheaper. The only thing counting against him are those really bad fixtures to open the season with. However, I am looking to move to him after game week 3. Final player in the good tier, and I wanted to include a CDM in this category. I've gone with Anderson at Nottingham Forest. He's got extremely good DEFCON points. He's on set pieces, well, at least corners, and he's nailed. Great value at 5.5 million. I really think as a first sub, he could be a fantastic player. Less ideal as a starting 11 player because his ceiling is pretty low. Let's take an example game week. So let's say he's playing 90 minutes, he gets a clean sheet, and he's getting full DEFCON points. In terms of who he is as a player, this is probably your best outcome. However, all of that just adds up to 5 points. So he's not the most exciting pick, but he could be a really good enabler at his price point. Of all the CDMs, he's my favourite. Now for the final tier, Elite. First up, we have Palmer. So obviously he didn't have the best end to last season with only 1 attacking return in the last 16 game weeks. But, and some of you will probably disagree with this, I think he's an elite pick and was one of the first players in my team. He's nailed, he's on pens, he's a fantastic pick if your team can afford him. I see Chelsea scoring a lot of goals in the opening fixtures, and the other attackers like Pedro, Delap, Neto, Jackson, Esteban, etc., will not be as nailed as Cole. We've saved the best till last. Salah. What is there left to say about the man that hasn't already been said? 19 goals and 18 assists last season. Absolute monster. Broke the FPL record for most points achieved in a season. I will say he's looked a little off it in pre-season. I even watched him yesterday play against Crystal Palace when he missed a decisive penalty in the Community Shield, and to be honest, was missing throughout the whole game. But hopefully this means that a few managers will move off him, so more points for us. Until I see otherwise, Salah remains the FPL GOAT. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. Did I miss out any players? Did I overestimate or underestimate anyone? Do let me know. If you found it useful, please consider liking and subscribing. It would really, really help my channel out. We've got 3 more videos coming before the end of the season. The next one will be the final video in the tier list series on forwards. Then we're doing a pre-season form video. And then finally, we're doing final team selection before game week 1. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.